Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ofira Engelberg and I'm heading Business Development and Marketing at the Israel Economic and Trade Mission in Germany, Berlin. And today we have a great honor of hosting Mr. Achim Hartig, the Managing Director of Germany Trade and Invest here in Berlin, to talk to us about what is happening in the German market following the COVID-19 crisis, what kind of opportunities Israeli companies can expect to find in the German market, and what kind of support Germany Trade and Invest can offer Israeli companies. So thank you so much for hosting me here at your lovely offices. Maybe you can say a few words about yourself?
Certainly. Good morning, everyone. My name is Achim Hartig. I'm head of investor consulting at Germany Trade and Invest, and my team and I, we are dealing with everything which belongs to foreign direct investments, companies that are coming to Germany.
So let's dig right in. 2019 was a really good year for the German economy, and then 2020 began and COVID-19 hit. What happened to the German economy since then?
Well, in fact, 2019 was a very good year, and also Germany being an attractive country for foreign companies, the numbers showed that the level of foreign companies coming to Germany was like in 2016, 2017, so it was really successful. Also, the economy, trade-wise, export-wise and import-wise, was solid and stable, and of course no one was prepared for what would happen in January or February 2020. In fact, when it became clear that the COVID-19 crisis would affect the major economic zones, and meanwhile all zones worldwide, predictions about the gross domestic product in Germany went so far to say that it could decrease until 10 or 15% throughout the year 2020. Currently we are looking at maybe -5 or -4% at the GDP, and the predictions vary, of course. So there was a sharp hit in the expectations about how the German economy would perform.
Mm-hmm. And which sectors you think were the ones that were most affected?
As Germany is very much depending on exports, all sectors which are doing exports, of course, are very much affected. And in Germany, it's particularly the manufacturing industries who are highly depending on world markets and on global value chains. So if we're looking at industries, I mean, the largest industry segments in Germany are machinery industry, manufacturing industry, automotive industries, chemical industries, everything which has to do with electricity, and if we look a little bit more, cross-industry, energy industry, of course, and digital economy. And these industries are affected by the COVID-19 crisis in different ways. I think, to no surprise, everything which has to do with digital economy was a little bit more resilient because services are online and could be offered throughout the crisis. And on the contrary, they even boomed. So there are many companies which offer, to no surprise, video conferencing or e-learning platforms which had a huge success since the beginning of 2020. On the other hand, industries like the pharmaceutical industry and research and development in Germany, especially in the pharmaceutical industry, also has skyrocketed in a variety of companies, especially, of course, for developing vaccines on the one hand, but also companies which deal with the production or the supply of personal protection equipment. The automotive industry was struck pretty hard by the crisis. They are to more than 50% depending on export markets. So if the delivery cannot take place, if the markets are down, these industries particularly suffer hard.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that they will still continue to make investments or collaborate with, for instance, Israeli startups with automotive technologies?
I like the question, because this crisis has given the opportunity for industries to rethink not only about how to do export and import, but also how to manage production and how to govern their value chains. So what I want to say is that, to no surprise, digitalization in Germany will have more impact than ever in services and also in production. And wherever digitalization comes into place, particularly in production, we are talking about, let's say, secure communication between machines. We are talking about meta processes connecting suppliers, buyers, and production industries. We are also talking about automation of research and development involving a large degree of artificial intelligence. And I think, if not all of these sectors, then at least many are strongholds of Israeli companies and Israeli industries being there and also being able to contribute how to improve not only the German companies and the production in Germany, but also having an exchange with, let's say, traditional German companies, very process-driven. They can give their experiences away, and the Israeli companies could give their experiences away when it comes to how to digitalize processes and how to be in a safe IT environment, for example.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the potential journey of an Israeli startup that is interested to come to the German market. Can you say a few words about what kind of companies has a better chance to succeed, and especially describe the kind of support that the Germany Trade and Invest can offer Israeli companies?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to do this. Before we had our interview here now, I was informing myself about the numbers of Israeli companies coming to Germany, and I think it's high time we talk about this, because I think Germany has to communicate to Israeli companies the opportunities and also the values which are available here. How would a typical journey take place? First of all, I think Germany, that Germany Trade and Invest has to do the homework and to present in Israel, to Israeli companies, what kind of industries could be interesting. So this is typically the first step. And currently we are doing this, or we have been doing this physically in quite a number of cases in Tel Aviv, or in the surrounding, in Herzliya, or wherever companies and startups also have their location. So we're doing events over there, or participating in events. We are actively engaging with startups to interest them in a cooperation, for example, with German small and medium-sized enterprises. This is something which I think is not unique in Europe, but something particular in Germany. Because Germany is a country with small and medium-sized enterprises. For hundreds of years, these are the type of companies which are carrying the German economy. So they have a huge experience, and we have more than, I think, 1.3 million of them. So it's a lot. It's also a lot to cooperate with, by the way. And the German government has created a program which is called Digital Hubs. And this program offers the opportunity to startups to cooperate with German so-called Mittelstand, small and medium-sized enterprises, to create something together. So the German company could cooperate to solve a certain problem. The Israeli company could cooperate to gain access to a market, also access to, say, production technologies, so that there's a mutual benefit. This program is pretty unique, and we present this to Israeli companies also to offer the opportunities.
And what sectors are these digital hubs for?
These digital hubs, they are created in logistics sectors, e-security, media, finance, trade, almost everything which is strong in Germany has found its representation in these 12 digital hubs. But coming back to the journey, so at first we would, of course, communicate what are the options, and in the end we would talk to the Israeli companies and find out what kind of stage they are in. If it's an early stage, they are still making an orientation: should I go to the United States, or should I go, of course, to Europe. And we were trying to convince them that Europe is a good solution, given the fact that there are almost more than, let's say, double the inhabitants, like in the United States, and it's culturally close and the same time zone. So there are many things which put Europe in a better light in comparison to the automatic solution. Well, let's go to the United States. So this is our mission, which we hopefully pursue successfully. And then we provide a variety of industry information about Germany. So I think for almost every segment in the German industry, is it not however specialized it is, Israeli companies can get information first. And we just don't deliver only the information, we make the really consulting process. So we figure out what kind of business plan there is, what kind of partners they might need, what kind of bureaucratic hurdles might be to overcome, let's say, in a regulatory environment, like, for example, pharmaceutical industries or security industries. We know to whom to talk, we know how the laws are, and we can advise how to find the best path to settle down in Germany. And also I learned a lot talking to Israeli companies that it's not enough for an investment promotion agency just to provide information and to do basic consulting. The majority of work has to be done once the companies are in Germany. So how to find the contact, how to talk to a contact, how to make a contract, and what kind of partners should I rely on. And to help the Israeli company in that respect, we are closely working together with our partners, the investment promotion agencies of the federal states of Germany. So we're a federal organization, 16 federal states, everyone has an investment promotion agency, and we are really working hand in hand. So once we consulted a company so far that it decides to come to Germany, from that point on, we already work together with the federal states because they know best what kind of region is good, what kind of tax incentives might be interesting, and so on and so on. So to make sure that from the very start in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, or wherever, until they find a good place in Germany, they are covered with the processes and with the information they need.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier the digital hubs that are a good starting point for Israeli companies to meet the German ecosystem. Can you share a bit more information about them?
Yeah, the program is meanwhile 2 years old, almost 3 years old, and at the beginning it was accepted very shyly, but meanwhile all the hubs, all the 12 digital hubs in Germany are well accepted. And when we ask ourselves what happens there, it's that the services the digital hubs offer, they vary. In one digital hub, normally there's a university involved, there's a co-working space involved, and there are also some small and medium-sized enterprises involved. So there's a combination of academia, working on your own project, and also working with a company. Not every digital hub has the same integration of small and medium-sized enterprises or of research and development, but it's always possible to create this. And for an Israeli startup or an Israeli company coming to Germany, being active in the digital economy, it could be a very good starting point there, because it also gives orientation about what kind of other digital companies are active in this segment, and how is Germany organized in the sense of how research and development and small and medium-sized enterprises work together, and also talking to small and medium-sized enterprises. It's for every company, it's always a matter of culture and business culture, which could be a factor also in cooperation. And it's good to learn from each other and how to do business together. And the digital hubs could be a very good point to do this in an absolutely friendly and cooperative environment.
Okay. But I assume that this is a very good starting point, but from that point on, it's on the Israeli company to find the actual first customer.
That is correct, but not without help. We in Germany, we enjoy having associations, for example. We have an association for almost every possible industry you could think of, because we believe that if people have the same interest, they should join and try to achieve something together. So one of our first recommendations and our first steps to help an Israeli company would probably be to connect the company with an industry association it belongs to. And already with an industry association, you have so many options to connect with peers, companies, but also with clients, possible clients. If I'm just thinking about the largest European association of digital companies and telecommunication, which is the German Bitkom, they have thousands of members in Germany, and it reflects and represents the structure of the industry. So you have very old, very conservative, in the best sense, companies being members of the Bitkom, and also the youngest startups with a very small amount of revenues, but with great ideas, they're also represented there. So, and I think this mixture of cultures and industry ideas makes it special to be either in the digital hubs or in the digital hubs and an association to find the traction over there.
Okay, and Germany Trade Invest will have all that information for the Israeli companies and all the potential associations and how to reach them.
Yes, we are closely cooperating with associations as well. They are one of our most important partners in helping companies to do business here in Germany.
Okay, and now let's talk a little bit about numbers. Any interesting benchmarks you can share in terms of how many Israeli companies do come to the German market?
Yeah, I can share that. In fact, I mean, let's imagine we have, I think, 83 million inhabitants here in Germany. We have more than 1.3 million small and medium-sized enterprises. I mentioned that already. And every year, about 1,700, 1,800, 1,900 companies come to Germany from foreign countries to do business over here. More than 40% come from companies not in Europe, so 60% are, approximately 60% come from Europe. So when we're talking about 1,800 companies seeing the possibility to do business in Germany, currently we are looking at about 17 companies or 18 companies coming from Israel, tapping the German market.
Okay.
And so, as I said, it's our job to communicate and to help Israeli companies, but that I would take the opportunity to do this right here. This huge market, this huge platform, where such an amount of economic power still in the crisis, recovering in a V shape currently. Now it's a good point to put your eyes on the German market and also on the German industry to see how you can be successful with them. And it's our job to guide you and the Israeli companies to the first steps.
It's our job together.
Yeah, it's our job together, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
One last question. You keep mentioning the small medium enterprises in Germany, and I think that maybe the audience in Israel is not very aware of the special traits of this segment in Germany, because Israeli companies know Siemens, they know BMW, they know the big German corporates, but maybe you can share some information about what those Mittelstand companies are and why they may have even a better chance to succeed in collaborations with them than with the big corporates.
Okay, well, thank you for the question. Looking at the German Mittelstand companies, even if probably Siemens is well known or car companies are well known, maybe some also know Faber-Castell as a stationery company. Some might know Villeroy and Boch as a company. Some might know Haniel in the industry as a chemical industry. Some might know Berenberg Bank, which are the financial services, and there are tens of others of these companies which have hidden champion brand names. And these companies, they exist since 1200, 1400, 1600, 1700. So they have several hundred years of experience. They went through crises like the one we are currently in, financial crisis, wars, pandemics, you name it, and divisions of countries, disruption of value chains, confiscations of goods. They went through all that. And I think this describes very well a certain DNA which is inherent in many German Mittelstand companies. That means they create their business models and also their business culture in a way it becomes resilient. And resilient throughout loyalty of the employees, resilient throughout quality in the processes, and also resilient in the way innovation is implemented to a certain degree into their products and services. And as these kind of companies, they show already resilience. They have this stable material in their business program, but they see that innovation cycles become faster, and they have to adapt to these innovation cycles to maintain competitive in the world markets. And again, this is a huge encouragement to Israeli companies, because that's exactly what I perceive as a huge quality of these companies: to be fast, to be innovative, to be persistent, and to drive business forward. And the combination of this element of Israeli companies and the technologies and the knowledge, together with the resilience and the persistence of the DNA of the German Mittelstand, I think it's a brilliant combination, and it cries out loud for a strong cooperation. And there's a lot of platforms available for that.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you,
and for
Ofira.
taking the time to tell our audience about the German market and why it can offer so many opportunities to Israeli companies.
Certainly.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, likewise. Thank you very much.